So let's head over, check in with Colin today. Colin, how you doing? What's on the show?
Be very careful, NFL, about making decisions based on emotion. Speaking personally, I've never made a good one when there's a lot of emotion involved in decisions, and rule changes in the NFL will come back to bite him. And Kobe Bryant, little shot at LeBron, but he's right, and I'll tell you about that coming up.
All right, Colin, thanks. Time for our final topic of the day. Lonzo Ball is doing everything he can to separate himself from the Big Baller brand. On the left is Lonzo's old Triple B tattoo, and on the right you can see he covered it with a new dice tattoo. Shannon, what does this tell you?
It's telling me that he's upset that everything is taking place. He's taking back control of his life, and he's scrubbing this aspect, the Triple B, from his life. He doesn't want a reminder that I was a part of Triple B. And it's very profound, Skip. I don't know the type of relationship that he and his father have currently. I believe they can get that back because they were close for so long. But losing $1.5 million to get your attention real quick.
Lonzo Ball is growing up before your very eyes.
Yes.
It's hard to watch. I cringed when I saw this. I don't love it, but he is starting to distance himself from everything BBB and everything Dad.
Yes.
No more LeVar.
I never thought BBB was about the boys. I thought this was LeVar's time to shine because his son was, because he could have started BBB at any point in time.
Could have.
Why did you wait until Lonzo Ball to go to the NBA before you all of a sudden you want to be a businessman?
I know. You know what? I still love Lonzo as a player. I would like to see him dealt elsewhere where he could start completely over, because I still think he has a great career ahead of him. Elsewhere.
Fresh start.
Get out from under LA, number 2, the overall Magic, LeVar.
Yes, I totally agree, Skip. But to take this kind of action this quick, this was not, okay, let me think about what I'm going to get. He's like, no, I'm done. This part of my life is about to be erased.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, well, he's gonna have a fresh start.
I'm about to give me a tattoo.
What kind?
You are not going to get a tattoo.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I do.
That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin tells you why the Saints, well...
So did that start to take away a little bit of his focus and even his interest level in actually playing the highest level of basketball? Maybe. I hope not. I hope maybe this offseason... This is a shell shock now. This is, like you said, maybe this is what he needed to sit back. I mean, you're still committed to Space Jam, but maybe you need to decommit to some other things, right? Maybe you better get back to playing basketball. If you want this big bounce back monster year, I think you better make basketball your only priority.
But see, Skip, you mentioned that, okay, it looked like he reached for a gear, but he wouldn't have been able to get around him. It's that he went so hard that his legs just went out from under him. He has that gear. I give you a prime and give you another example of two guys. Remember Peyton Manning? He played 14, 15 straight years, never missed a game. Missed an entire season, never missed another game. Tom Brady played every single game. Tore his ACL, hasn't missed a game since.
Okay, so?
I believe this is a very similar situation. Those were outlier seasons. I believe this is an outlier season. LeBron James got nicked. We hadn't seen anything like this because, Skip, what we're doing is that we're taking, well, we've never seen him hurt. We've never seen, he took 2 weeks off from his back, but nobody thought that, man, LeBron. But I'm looking at it. No one raised these questions about LeBron because he's still 34 now. No one raised these questions.
But you always make the case he's an old 34 because the mileage is severe. Because he's played in, when you get to 8 straight finals, you just keep playing more and more and more minutes than anybody's played.
But it's still purring like a kid.
Okay.
He's still going right on the lawn. Yes, he is. All them miles, and guess what? Can't get him off the road. Still on the road, still ticking along. Yep.
So Windhorst says that James's leadership this season hasn't been his finest. I would agree with that. Whether it's his behavior on the bench or his effort level on defense, we've all seen that. We all agree with that. But then he says, should you give him a break because he hasn't had those safety valve shooters around him the way he did in Cleveland or even back to his Miami days, right?
I love how LeBron gets safety valves. Nobody else has that. Nobody else is allowed to have teammates. Everybody's had teammates.
But you always say he needs snipers, right? That's what he does.
Skip, you and I in the beginning, when we saw this team start to come together, you and I questioned like, LeBron, hold on, wait a minute. Playmakers, you need shooters. You always had shooters.
You know why I gave him a break on that? Because he was so great last year up to the finals, but his playoff run through the East was all time, man.
But he had Kevin Love was shooting threes. JR was shooting threes. Kyle Korver was shooting threes.
They went and got Jordan Clarkson to make some. We thought Rodney Hood could make some, but he didn't.
Even Green. Yeah. Jeff Green was all of a sudden started his three-point percentage started to tick up.
All right.
We look at these guys, they don't have guys that can shoot the three.
Do you remember LeBron's first championship run? Do you remember Shane Battier one night in Oklahoma City, what he did? Do you remember what
Mike Miller?
Do you know what Mike Miller did? Do you remember what Mario Chalmers did? Okay, they all had, those three each had a game for the ages for them, like a career game.
And then the next year they get Ray Allen.
Okay. All right. So you need those. So all Brian is saying is maybe you don't have those. But I gave LeBron a pass. I thought, well, he was so good at 33 that maybe at 34 he doesn't need that anymore. Maybe and then again Brian goes into the up-tempo style the Lakers were playing earlier this year. There was a big departure from his comfort zone. He's never done that before. He wants to walk the ball up the floor and make something happen, either by him driving the basketball or making the pass.
Because the thing that he was going up against in Golden State, Skip, is that you can't play that tempo. You can't get up and down because that style of pace isn't conducive to the type of team that he has. Well, Magic went out and got a team that wants to push the pace, which he wasn't used to pushing the pace. And if you push the pace, Skip, you can't play 38 minutes a night, which they were asking him to do.
That's a very good point. And I used to come in early this year and just rave and bang the table. That's fun to watch. They were the most fun to watch team. That's for the first 2 months, maybe. And then the pace started to wane a little bit because you can't keep asking him to do that.
No, not at 34, Skip. With the minutes that's on his body, that's on those legs, you're going to ask him to play that style of pace and play 38 minutes, 40 minutes on some nights. That's asking a bit too much, even for LeBron James, as great as he's been, as well as he's taking care of his body. But I just believe...
And remember, Kuzma loved it. Lonzo loved it. Josh Hart loved it because they were their kids.
23, 24.
But it was a lot of fun, man. Right? Even JaVale loved it. And he's a mid-aged player, but he could run up and down the floor.
Yeah, but he ain't got 10,000 minutes on those legs.
He doesn't.
But I just believe if we were to step back and just say, okay, LeBron is averaging 27, 8, and 8, and he's the fourth or fifth seed in the playoffs, are we having this discussion whether or not this is an outlier season in terms of his health? I don't believe we are. I believe everything is centered around him missing the playoff. Skip, we've never missed the playoff. LeBron, LeBron James worth 50 wins. They won 35 last year. He gonna give him at least 15 more because that's what happened. Miami, they increased 13, 15 games. He goes back to Cleveland, they increase. Now they come back here, they're basically the same as they were before he got there. So this is why, granted, he doesn't have the impact, but if you get him some shooters and all of a sudden let him give old Kyle Korver back to him. I'll take old Korver right now.
I don't think Utah wants to give him up.
Why not?
I don't know. They need him.
They do.
Okay, let's look at PER, player efficiency rating for one LeBron James. He went 6 straight seasons in the heart of his prime of his career, and he led the NBA in PER.
Right.
That most people don't know what the number means, but it was 30.3 on average. If you could get up in the 30s in PER, you are all time. Okay? So he averaged 30.3 for 6 straight seasons. This year he's at 25.8, and he's in danger of falling toward his worst ever PER. Right now he's got the 13th. You know, it's the 13th best or worse, however you look at it.
Out of 400 players?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's terrible, huh?
No, that's of his seasons. The 13th worst. But he's 8th in the NBA in PER.
Okay.
But again, but again, it's a big precipitous drop. It's not what we're used to seeing in impact. His defensive win shares, 2.5, that's his career worst. Well, we know he doesn't really focus on the defensive end. His overall win shares are the second lowest of his career. So we're not seeing the impact we used to see where he would just dominate the basketball game. I told you, the greatest stretch ever was the first Golden State Finals series in which he lost Kevin Love before it. He lost Kyrie in overtime of game 1. And then what did he do? He just took it over. He had them on the ropes, 2 games to 1 down with game 4 in his house, right? Am I right about that?
You're right about that.
It was the greatest stretch of his career. He just put the whole team, he put cadavers on his back and took them to a 2-1 lead, and they could have closed it out.
But you know what, Skip? Maybe he's going to have to if he can't get shooters, maybe he's going to have to change his approach. Instead of averaging 8-9 assists a game, he might have to drop that down to 5 to 6 a game and increase his point total.
Okay.